There's been times where you said the creators have thought that George was the co-owner because they were essentially introduced to the store with you and George rather than seeing me.
Yeah.
And it's like, did they like the store though?
Yeah,
I don't care about the rest of it. Like I don't need them to understand what I do. I want the store to A, be successful, and B, for people to be happy with it. Like in that order.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. Highs to approved, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. It gets hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Del Bush.
Dal.
Del.
W. Dal Bush.
As someone who works retail, although I admittedly don't work Mondays, I can never remember when public holidays are coming up.
Sure. I have worked Mondays for 16 plus years at Challengers. So my awareness of them is very high.
I never remember what holidays are what, plus holidays change. But it's always funny to me on a week like this where two of our main distributors, specifically Lunar and Penguin Random House, go so far out of their way to get us next week's books early because it's a holiday, when in reality, that means nothing to any of us in retail because we are all open on holidays.
Yeah, I mean, I always think it has more to do with the availability of shipping companies.
Yeah, no, it's just them, so they can have days off.
Yeah. And honestly, it's Penguin Random House who's always really reliable about getting stuff out early when it comes to federal holidays versus Lunar, which is like half and half.
Sure.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Basically what they're doing is telling us that they can do this all the time. They just choose not to.
I don't know.
And it's because they have days off and we don't.
Yeah, I don't know that I would read it that way.
And you also know that UPS doesn't have those holidays off.
I mean, UPS has some of those holidays, for sure.
FedEx doesn't.
Yeah, and we don't...
FedEx even delivers on Sundays sometimes.
Yeah, but we get like 75 to 80% of our stuff through UPS. It shifts around more. Lunar used to be pretty reliably FedEx, and then about a year ago they were like, nah, you'll get some stuff UPS if we decide that's cheaper or faster or both.
Basically, we decide for you. You don't get a choice unless you specifically pay to use your own shipping service or what have you.
But getting back to what you're saying about how they're proving that they could do this every week, I don't know that that's the case. Like, I always assume, and maybe this is just me being too generous, a thing I'm known for, it's
true. Everyone's talking about it.
I always feel like they have to work harder to accommodate these things. You know,
okay.
That to lose a day, well, yeah, you say okay, but it's like, would you want to work like 50% as hard every single week just because you could technically? Or would you be like
50% as hard? Yes. I will work 50% as hard at any given point.
An additional, you know what I mean? An additional 50%.
I do. I know what you mean, but what you said was, do I want to work less? The answer is always
sorry,
yes.
I phrased it badly. But the idea that these companies are just, you know, they can just turn it up to 11, and it's like, well, that comes with a consequence. Like, that's, you know, employees that have to do that, and, you know, hours that have to be added to the schedule. Like, I think it would be almost insulting to say, like, well, just work this hard all the time. And it's like, that's not reasonable to ask for anybody, for human beings in a society. It's okay to have days off. It's okay for people to work, you know, a reasonable amount of energy and effort rather than the hardest you can possibly work just to, like, be more efficient or get stuff out faster. Like, it's okay. It's okay to get this stuff on Thursdays and Fridays rather than, you know, Wednesdays. Like, yeah, it'd be better, but I get that there's a mechanism at work here, and, you know, people are part of that mechanism, and they deserve to not have to kill themselves for my convenience.
Yeah, but none of that was my point. My point was they're doing all of this for them.
I don't know that I would read it that way.
So they can have a day off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they do get a day off necessarily. Like,
you know that they're all closed those days.
I mean, they'll usually tell us when warehouses are closed specific days. I don't know that Lunar and Penguin Random House gave all their warehouse workers the day off. I don't know if that's true.
Well, I'm giving myself off. this
Okay,
Monday.
you're allowed. Sale's over today. Today's the last day of the sale. It's always interesting to see the stuff that people get and the things that they're excited about. One of the weirdest things is always the like 4th and 5th and 6th days of the sale when you have to constantly remind people that they're getting a discount on things.
It's so disheartening.
It's a little disheartening. It's a little weird. It always has this feeling. I want it to be a thing where when you're telling people, they're like, A, wow, I didn't know I was getting a discount. That's super cool. I love it. And B, wow, I'm going to get more stuff because of it. Now that I know there's a sale, which I didn't before, now I'm going to get the things that I wasn't going to get before because my money's going to go farther. And this is the only store-wide sale the store does. Instead, 99% of the time, it's just like, oh, okay. So all I'm hearing as a retailer is like, I gave you 25% off. It's irrelevant to you. You would have paid 100%. But because I gave you a discount, nothing is changing. You're just paying less. You're not more excited about it. You're not grateful in any way. And you're not going to spend more money because of it. So there's usually a good 3 days in there where it's like, I would never do this, but there's always the thing in the back of my head of like, what if I just don't give this random person a discount? This random person who's walking in to buy like 2
Who clearly
Spider-Man
doesn't know
comics
there's a sale.
from a couple months ago that isn't doing it because of the sale, that isn't more inclined to participate if they knew there was a sale. They were just coming in to buy stuff and they happened to be paying less. It's like, well, they would have paid the full amount. So what if I didn't give them the discount? But I do. And then I get a little grumpy about it in the aftermath. And I think, what am I doing this for? Like, why are we doing the sale in this way? I don't know what the better way to do it is. Like, sometimes I just want it to be like, what if it was online only and you had to put in a code? You know what I mean? Like you had to actively know about it and read our emails and opt in rather than just being given a discount for nothing happening.
Theoretically, we could always do more outreach to let people know about it, but
you could never do 100% outreach though.
When you have 3 giant banners in the windows, and you have like I get that the flyers in the store are virtually invisible.
Yeah, I not to segue into something, but I did genuinely think like we years ago did not want to do sale flyers all over the store. I think it's sort of tacky. It's a little weird. It's shoving it in people's faces in a way where it's like, I don't know if this is how I want people walking into the store to engage with it. But genuinely, like next year, I think we do gigantic signs all over the store. Yeah. Like you walk in the store and it's like, oh shit, they have a sale. I think that's the only way to do it. Because the banners outside, it's advertising for people in advance of the thing, but it requires you to have to notice that.
What does it usually do? It usually makes people come in when we put it up thinking the sale's that day exactly.
Weirdly, this year I had more people who were asking about it like it was a cancer diagnosis. You guys are doing a store-wide sale? Yeah. Is that for any reason? Yeah, we do it every year. Oh, okay. Like multiple people were like, are you going out of business?
I didn't have that.
It's like, no, like it felt kind of weird. Like, what? No, it's just a sale. Like stores do sales sometimes. Like, hopefully it's a good discount and hopefully it's on a lot of things because we want people to feel like they're getting good value from it.
It's just when you have a regular, someone who comes in every week, come in during the sale and you say, oh, you're here for the sale? And they say, what sale?
What sale?
And you say, do you see those giant banners in the window? And they say, well, I walk from a different direction. Okay. You see that bright pink flyer right in your face on the door?
Taped at eye level?
And then they jokingly say, I don't know how to read.
Did you see any of the signs that we've had up around the store? The 8.5 by 11 full color and also black and neon pink signs that we've had all over the store saying that there's a sale coming up. Do you read any of our emails? Do you see any of our social media?
Yeah.
I was talking to Managed Comics Brian Garza earlier this week, and he was talking about some cool new marketing tools that he's working on for stores to use for Managed Comics. And I said, awesome. Do you have any way to force people to read the emails? Like, that's the thing. That's the plugin that I need from anybody. The first email I get from a vendor blind emailing us who doesn't even know what business we're in, that guarantees me that 100% of the emails that I send out will get read by my customers, they can charge me whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'll give them a kidney. I don't care, man. Like, anything to
one
get
of
people,
yours or
mine. I'll give them one of mine. I'll give them both of mine. I don't care. Like, that is...
I care. I need you to have one kidney.
No, forget it. The emails are more important.
I'm not working Mondays.
You'll be
We've
doing so
established
much
that.
more business
We've established that.
if people just read our emails. Like, this is the thing that I feel like for any store in 2025, there's a lot of like variables and a lot of, headwinds and stuff. And obviously the distributor situation is not ideal, but I feel like if you cornered any retailer at Comics Pro this weekend in Los Angeles and asked them what the most important thing that could happen tomorrow would be for their store, if you offered the suggestion that getting your customers to read 100% of the social media posts and emails that you send out, their eyes would go very, very wide, like you were offering to introduce them to Santa Claus. And they would nod their heads so rapidly that you would be concerned about their neck health. Like Roderick Strong should come out and be like, let me help you with that.
Yep. He should be the spokesperson for this. I'm trying to figure out a way to get a piece of candy embedded in every email.
But again, the candy is not going to work for everybody. Like just the, oh my God.
Shut your mouth. Candy won't work for everybody?
No, some people don't like,
how dare you?
Some people don't like chocolate. Do you know that? Like they're just like, no, I don't like chocolate.
What if it was right there for them though?
People have turned down chocolate. I've had people tell me that they like candy.
People that are just being
like
demure. If they're in the privacy of their own home and candy appears in an email,
they're just they're just nestled in a Nestle's pool.
I'm not trying to. Well, let me ask you this: How are you talking to Brian Garside?
Texting him.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm a better friend to him than you are.
You are.
I physically.
You're a better friend to everybody that I know.
I talked to him on the telephone and he lives in a different country.
Anybody that I would consider to be friendly with in the comics community, you are better friends with them. And
I can name you a bunch of people that is not true with.
No, I think it is, and it's. I mean, I'm not saying it as like a self-deprecating, like you're a better person than I am, but you are better at that aspect of friendship, of being like more communicative with people and reaching out to them and staying in contact with them via text or phone calls or messaging over social media apps and stuff, because I don't want to do those things. Like I could, there's a few people that
you say you don't want to do those things. There's literally at least one person I could name who you 1,000% do not do that with, who is still better friends with you than me.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to ask you after this who it is. I don't know who it is. But yeah, it's
like they have to go through me to get to you most of the time.
That's great.
And then you'll just take the message and be like, okay.
Yeah, I have no idea how we got into this topic. Yeah, I want people to open emails. Jesus Christ, it is. Oh yeah, sure. No, that makes sense. The email, just being able to
Daniel Warren Johnson,
just being able to communicate to our customers the things that we're doing that are beneficial to them.
And if they choose to ignore it at that point, fine.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
But here's the thing. I don't even mean like subjectively. Like I think these, pre-ordering tools are better if you want to try and get variant covers and stuff. I'm literally saying, if you are aware of this sale, you can save 25% by doing basically nothing. You literally just have to buy stuff that you would probably buy anyway, and you will get a discount. You just have to do it during this window. And like the amount of people who shop with us who come in after Free Comic Book Day and we're like, did I miss Free Comic Book Day? And it's like, yes. And oh my God, we were telling you about it forever. All you had to do is come in and you missed it because you didn't read any of the emails.
And just like our sale, it's the same section of time every year.
Yep. It's always the first Saturday in May. Our sale is always February 7th to the 13th. That's just how it works. This shit should be locked in.
Do you think 7 days is too long?
I think about that sometimes, yes. The only problem is I don't know that reducing it in days would keep the same amount of value. I don't know if it would just move it around.
It's important that it fall on a Wednesday and a weekend.
Yeah, that's the thing. Being the 7th to the 13th means that no matter when the calendar is, we can capture all the right days.
Yeah.
The other version is to do it as the first Wednesday through Saturday in February or whatever, and it's like, I don't know what days that's going to be. That's going to be different every year, and this
isn't like
harder
Easter.
To communicate. But
we
again,
want to be able to say it's the same days every year.
Yeah, and yet, I mean, as a counterpoint, like you just said, no one seems to remember this stuff.
Yeah.
So even though we're like, it's important that there be a routine to it, that routine only works if anyone remembers it from year to year, and they don't.
One of the guideposts we have as to how things are going for us, aside from bottom line balance in our bank account,
Sure.
is how does this compare to the same thing last year? That's how we gauge everything.
Sure. Yeah, like when
And-
we're looking at like, the sale or Free Comic Book Day or seasonal stuff. Yeah.
And I don't think it's unfair to say this year's sale is disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing is a good way to put it, because I think there's an easier way to say like underwhelming, and it's like that's not really what we're talking about, because I'm gonna look at how they're doing today.
They need to do
Yeah.
this number to just
I checked it last night. Don't worry,
Okay.
I did the same thing you did.
to just tie
Yeah.
last year.
And I mean, this is what they're at right now,
Yeah.
which isn't killer, but they've only been open for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. But I mean,
also, P.S. We're recording this at 1:31 on.
yeah, we're a little bit earlier. But I mean, there were no last minute sales coming in.
We'll see what
I
happens.
did a full round of last minute
Mhm.
social media posts this morning. Everything from posts to stories, through all of the through Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and Facebook and LinkedIn,
Friendster
and
Tout
Twitter,
and Vine.
some of those had stories as well as posts.
Mhm.
So there's a lot out there, and they're getting engagement, but engagement doesn't translate to sales.
Yeah, it's the thing of like, people like this. Like, I don't care that you like it. I want you to take advantage of it. I want you to come buy some
I
stuff.
cannot point to any sales that have come in online, and I did it before the stores opened, so people could have done, emphasizing online as well.
Yeah, stores open the whole time, and that's to get to your point about disappointing. It's not that sales are down for the sale. They're not. They're on track to be. It was weirdly shaped this year. Our Monday and Tuesday for the sale were pretty bad compared to the last Monday and Tuesday of 2024 for the sale, and yet we had a better kind of first day, and it's
Friday and Saturday started out great.
Yeah, the money moved around in weird ways. It wasn't like a 1-to-1 match of like how we did on the Monday of the sale last year versus how we did on the Monday of the sale this year. So it will balance out to basically being flat with last year, which not being down in any year is better than being down. But the disappointing aspect, it was something you had brought up, which is that we had put so much more energy and effort into the website, and I'll have to afterwards break it down and see like, where did the numbers move? Like, I don't know without sitting down and doing a spreadsheet real quick as to whether or not the online sales are up or down. I'd have to look. They might be up this year. And in-store might be down. But the bigger thing is, it just feels like we have more people this year than we did last year shopping. And yet, to be flat is like, well, that means that a smaller percentage of them are actually participating in the sale.
Yeah, for real. Here's a statistic that I've noticed that doesn't mean anything. It's just a weird anecdote.
Mhm.
This year's sale has had no industry professionals take part.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Whether it be in-store or online. No.
The online thing is usually where we see it.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, so-and-so from whatever company.
But no publishers, no editors, no marketing people, no creators.
Mhm.
Like literally it's just comic fans, which is fine.
Sure.
But also, years past, a lot of the industry insiders do a good job of helping us market just by passing it along.
Oh, okay.
And we've had a lot of dedicated, regular shoppers spreading the word about the sale,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is great.
That's great.
And this year, more than ever, we had more people wanting to just buy the shirt.
The shirt was really popular. I'm always such a terrible person about understanding like what people are going to like for our shirts.
Yeah.
There's designs I've liked that other people haven't, and designs I thought were okay but people adored. So now usually when you show me a design, I don't have any feedback because it's like I can't tell you that this is good or bad.
Right.
Like usually
you get one anyway. You're not going out of your way to earn this.
No, but it's like I can't be of any help telling you like, are we on the right
Oh
track?
yeah,
Do you know
no,
what I
I'm
mean?
the same
There's
way.
no
I
notes.
need to wait until the people that work for us weigh in
Yeah.
before I can be like, oh, it's a good shirt.
Yeah, literally the best barometer that I've ever had for like, is the shirt going to be popular enough that people are going to want to participate in the sale to get it? Is like Gina Lizzie.
Yeah.
Like if they think it's a cool design, it's going to do well. Like I don't know if that means they're most representative of our customers or they just have a better eye for this stuff or both.
Yeah.
But regardless, like when you say like, oh, they're into it, like, okay, cool, we're on the right track.
As each year passes, I trust my ability to find an artist that captures the excitement of today's comic fan.
Sure.
So and I'm always looking ahead, like, who do we do next time? Who do we next time? We've had we've had several people in the past that we've asked that couldn't do the shirt.
Sure.
Comic like A-listers.
Sure.
Who we tried to get to the shirt that just didn't have time for it,
Yeah.
which is fine, absolutely
totally
fine,
understandable.
especially when they let us know.
Right.
Then we've had,
however,
2 people who committed to doing it, who never did it.
Just never did it.
Yeah. One of them we reached out to. One of them reached out to us.
Yeah.
And
to be clear, now when we do the shirts, we understand, the pressures on people who are doing it and how other higher paying gigs have to take priority.
Oh, of course.
So when you reach out to people, you reach out well in advance. Like this isn't a thing where like, well, the sale's February 7th. So like, we're going to reach out January 1st. Like it's way in advance of that. We usually want to have the design done and ready for promotion by the new year.
Yeah.
So you are reaching out months in advance of that to say like, look, this is what we're looking to do. And if you want to do it, like you have all of this time to do it around other gigs and holidays and stuff like that.
A lot of our shirt artists have needed deadline reminders. But I will tell you the 2 best experiences were James Zark from about 3 years ago. He turned it around in a day.
Yeah, killed it. Like, and that's one of our most popular designs.
He literally got back to me in a day. Then I made some brief changes, and that took 1 more day.
Yeah.
So 2 days.
Yeah.
And then this year's shirt with Andrea Bell, we've had it since August.
It's great. She's so good.
And even that was with her being like, "Hey, I'm sorry this is late. This isn't late.
It's not.
We had this." I'm like, "I feel bad for you because you did this thing that no one's going to see for like 6 months."
Yeah. But that's great because, we've definitely, you specifically, since you're usually the interface for the artists that we're dealing with, have had more like difficult interactions where you kind of have to hound people a little bit or like things are coming in at like the 13th hour.
Yeah. The creator who completely forgot.
That's the best.
To be fair, they did turn that around in a day as well.
Right.
And
I like that design.
But that was after like 6 months of forgetting about it.
I think the process has made you not like that design because you understand how kind of compromised and rushed it was. But I think the end result is really solid for that one. I like it.
I think it was just a little derivative.
Sure. I liked it though. I don't think there has not, to my mind, been a shirt design where I've been like, gross, no.
There was one.
No, I didn't really, like, not really.
Okay.
There's obviously, subjective stuff. I like certain designs better than others.
There was one instance where following along with the artist through the process, I'm like, okay, good. I like it. And then they turn in a completely different thing that I'm like, what is that?
What is this? What are we
and
doing
then
here?
that's the harshest our shirt printers has ever been. Like, hey, you're going to lose a lot of this.
You're killing us with this design.
Yeah.
We know. This was not her. We discussed this.
The previous most detailed shirt we had was Ryan Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But we were getting that done locally at the time, and unfortunately the people we were using stopped.
Yeah.
And they were great, and I would just literally go over their apartment and pick the shirts up.
Yeah.
And they handled Ryan's really well.
Yeah,
for the tight detail.
We were talking to some customers about this yesterday, just about how, as we do this more often, we have more examples to show to prospective artists and say, like, this is kind of the amount of detail that you can get away with, and this is what it's going to reproduce at. Because I think for some of the folks we've dealt with who haven't really done a lot of like designs for merchandise, they're kind of unaware of like how much of a regular line art thing can you get away with. And even sometimes just thinking about the idea of, this is going to be white ink on a red shirt. So when you're turning in the art, think about it in that way.
Yeah, you can give us the art black. That's fine.
Right. But just understand that this is going to be like a negative version.
Yeah.
So like make sure that looks okay to you.
One artist out of all of these shirts and all these years, one artist had a rights contract for us.
Oh, okay.
That we signed as far as usage goes.
Sure.
And it's always made me cognizant of the fact that sometimes we've reprinted the design, or sometimes we've made that design available as a tote bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became, I should probably mention ahead of time.
Yeah, you reach out to the artist and like, this is cool.
Like, one of the things we try to convey with the artist is that this is not a mass release that we're selling.
Yeah, this is a promotional tool for a sale for a limited time.
And we need to be conscious of our budget because we're already giving these t-shirts away.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to roll in the price of the art
mm-hmm.
into the price of the shirts
right.
as to what the overall cost is going to be.
Sure.
And if it's a shirt we were selling where we're recouping money, that's a different thing.
For
but
sure.
if an artist is asking for, a significant amount of money, then it becomes...
We basically can't...
It's not cost effective.
Yeah, we can't pay a lot of money for art that we're giving away.
Yeah.
That's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. So, like, we tend to reach out to people that we have a relationship with who understand that when we're asking for this, we're offering to pay them, but the payment is going to be reflective of the fact that we are giving this away.
Right. But, we always... We don't offer. We ask what you would charge.
Right.
I always say, what's your rate?
Right.
What would you charge for this?
Yeah, and I mean, like, some artists are super generous with us, and because we have a relationship with them, they're like, this lower amount because I want to help out the store. I think you guys are doing a good job. We're friends, whatever. And, like, we don't want to, like, leverage that necessarily, but, if someone's like, don't worry about it, I'll do it for this, it's like, fine, that was your decision. We didn't go to you and say, give us a deal. You offered that, and we accepted it.
But brass tacks, if I'm working with somebody who keeps saying, well, what's your budget? What will you pay? What is your budget? I am 100% going to lowball you. If I give you the option...
Our budget is low.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. Like, again, we're giving, we're a small store. B, we're essentially giving this away as a promotional tool for a limited time offer. So yeah, those together are going to mean that what we can offer for something like this is low. And if you don't want to do it for that, I totally get it. Like, we would never, like, try, again, leverage, I think is the word I'd want to stick with. We wouldn't want to leverage any relationships to get people to do something for less than they think they deserve.
Exactly. And we never want anyone to be disappointed with their payday, which is why we try to, up front, I'll just be like, hey, you know what? That's out of our budget. But I understand that. I'm never going to ask someone to take less.
No.
I'm never going to counter offer.
No.
I'm just going to say that doesn't work for us, but you deserve it.
Right.
We just can't afford it.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's just out of our budget.
But it is a ridiculous spectrum of what people have asked for
sure
over the time. And as we're sitting here talking about this,
mm-hmm.
I literally have no one in mind for next year.
You can give it a couple days. It's cool, Patrick.
Yeah.
Let the sale be over for like
I know, but I mean, like
48 hours before it's starting to go
won't.
next year.
But like usually, I have stuff stacked up for like years at a time. Like
I mean, I'll
Christmas stuff. I have. I already always have next year's Christmas worked out before this year's. Christmas
You really
done.
do. I have sort of an idea of someone maybe we could talk to about doing the shirt that we might be seeing soon. I'll mention to you.
Is
after
it
the podcast.
Gustavo Duarte because he did last year's style?
Oh, did he?
Is this person going on a trip with us to not an older section of Japan, but New Japan?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if they would be interested or if they'd even be good at it, but I just thought, like, that's maybe somebody that we could talk to and see if they want to do it. Think it could be fun.
Sure.
I don't know what they would do with it. It doesn't, I don't know.
I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
We never know what they're going to do.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, the the brief is always just the sale's called "I Love You, but I've chosen comics." It's going to be white ink on a red shirt.
It has to say that somewhere.
Yeah, you've got to include that slogan somewhere in it.
If you want to use the Challengers C, great. You don't have to. I completely admit that what we got from Andrea Bell this year was not at all what I was expecting.
No.
But that's part of the joy of this is not.
It's just fun. It's like when we get people to do stuff, on the wall when they're doing a signing, when we're like, hey, can you do a little sketch on the wall and marker? There's like 2 people in the history of Challengers that have ever been like, could you draw this character? Everything else is just like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like as big or small, like a popular character.
Now, admittedly, that's
thing, I don't care.
Kind of that's a criteria that artists don't like. They like being told what to do.
Sure, but I usually
when if you're at a convention and you're getting a sketch with someone, they say, "Who do you want?" You're like, "I don't know, whoever."
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite things about Daniel Warren Johnson sketches.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't give him specifics, like if you're like, "I just want Spider-Man," you're going to get the tiniest Spider-Man in a massive Times Square setting.
Great, I would love that. I mean, I
know you would.
I think those are. I've seen,
but that's what he wants to do.
Right,
so
and that's
when you're letting him do it.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah, which great. Like,
also, I don't mean to sound like that's what you get.
That's what you get. That's on you. The commission thing where, I think the coolest thing is just letting an artist feel like they've got some ownership over it. You know what I mean? Where they're not like an art robot where you're like, I want Spider-Man fighting Dr. Octopus at the Shed Aquarium, and also the entire lineup for this K-pop group is in attendance, and they're all eating these specific foods. Like,
when they're petting squids.
Then it's just like, I plug that into an AI thing, and that'll give you that. Like, if you want Daniel Warren Johnson to draw Spider-Man, give him the barest amount of detail. Like, let him think about what would be a cool image and use his own ability to design a good page, and then do that.
Say if you want black costume or not. That's like a pretty basic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's definitely, you get a better piece of art the less instruction you give an artist like that.
But you need basic instruction.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't, it's one thing to say, like, for the wall, do whatever you want, because it's like, I'm not paying you for this. Like, this is
also just a quick,
this is just a
quick little, like,
a little goodbye thing for the store.
Yeah.
You did a signing, you were here. We want to be able to show people, like, hey, this artist was here, and they did a little thing on the wall on their way out. But yeah, if you're paying someone, $150 to $1,500, like, yeah, you can give a little bit of stuff, but yeah, I like,
just for the record, he's talking about commissions, not T-shirt art.
Yeah, no, this is just commissions.
We will never pay $1,500 for a T-shirt.
We're talking about commissions now. That the whole subject moved about 5 minutes ago. But with commissions, like there's a couple artists that I would love to get something from, and I have a specific idea of a character I'd want to see them draw, but I wouldn't be more specific than this character. Like, that's it. I don't need to say, like, here's what they're doing and here's how they're. No. You're the artist.
I want
you have the better eye for it.
arm wrestling Katie Power while Jeff the Land Shark looks on from a blimp being piloted by Gwenpool over Neo Tokyo.
That's ridiculous, Patrick. It wouldn't be a blimp. They'd be in a boat and a harbor.
Over Neo Tokyo?
Outside Neo Tokyo.
That's fair. So ultimately, we would want every sale to do a little bit better than the year before.
Yeah,
we just want to know that sales are increasing
for sure,
but also that our reach is increasing, especially since this sale is available to anyone who wants to buy things, so long as they're shipped within the United States.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, obviously we want the numbers just to go up each year. That would be great. But I always want it to feel more reflective of kind of where we're at as a store. And when I feel like we're looking around and we're having good months and we're meeting new people and the website is reaching out to more people than we've had before, and then the sale is just like what it was last year, it's like, no, like everything else is pointing in a higher direction, and the sale just went, nope, this is the ceiling.
I mean,
okay.
Honestly, this is a time period where people are legitimately concerned about their financial futures. True. And they're spending more on necessities.
Yeah,
because of
maybe anecdotally, maybe it's hard to say for sure.
One of the things I didn't do is I've never looked back to see what was our best sale. What year was our best sale?
Oh, it's really interesting. I don't know.
I feel like it was maybe 22.
Probably.
Without looking.
I mean, it feels like it probably would.
We always go to the previous year, but we don't go back multiple years.
No.
Mainly because that'll make me sad.
Yeah, I guess I think we would have that data. I think maybe. I'm trying to think when we switched over to Shopify.
During 2020.
Okay. Full-time? No.
But I mean, like, it started then. It started toward the end of the year.
No, but I mean, like, full-time, we're going
21.
into Shopify's data would tell me 100% of the sales that we had during that period,
Yeah.
rather than just the online sales and then the in-store sales
Right.
are part of a
Right.
different
No, I
data
think
set.
it'll think 21 is the...
Okay.
So only
maybe,
4,
maybe,
5.
But if we look at 2022, let me take a look. See if I can bring it up on my phone.
And while Dow's doing that, I'm just going to go back to an anecdote I was going to have about people reading emails. And this goes into our discussion from last week about emailing individual customers. After we were talking about Lost Fantasy last week and how Indigo Children is going to be a backup in that specific series, I emailed our...
Oof, yeah, probably 2022.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
This is, assuming this is 100% of what we had. This is 2022.
Okay, that is significantly higher than this year, last year. Even if this year beats last year, we're still off several $1,000s from that.
Yeah, Jesus.
And of course, 2022 is the banner year for everything because that is the year that everyone got into comics.
Yeah, it was a boom period for comics, North American comics, manga, trading card games,
Probably also
role-playing
Boom
games.
as a company,
Uh,
publisher.
just the whole market that we had, every category was going up because everybody had COVID money, but nobody had any place to spend it. So, like, you had all this money.
People still weren't used to the idea of going back out, going to concerts, traveling.
Oh, I mean, this is 2023.
Wow. So 2024 was a
2024 was a
giant
down
kick
year.
in the balls.
Yeah, that much I remembered.
Yeah.
Because I remember 2024 being like, wow, we are off the beam, man.
Yeah. And if we're not even
mostly because
hitting that.
Mostly because I remember you being very, like, disappointed in it because it was like, cool, we had plans for what this money was going to go towards, and now there's a lot less of it than we expected there to be. Not that we budget towards it, but it's like, the hope is always, this is going to help us largely dig out of holes, but sometimes it's like, boy, it'd be nice to be able to do this other thing that we've been meaning to do but haven't had the money to do, but the sale's going to bring that money in, and then it's like, oh, no, it's just going to dig out of a hole, that's about it, the end. Like, okay, cool.
Huh. So I guess it was just last year that was...
Yeah, I mean, to revise
same...
everything we were just talking about, I guess we're just in a new normal where people just don't care as much about the sale.
Well, in that same regard, if you compare this...
Yeah, and then this was last year.
To...
Which is also trending towards this year.
Yeah. I mean, they have to do killer today. Not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, again, they just have to do basically what they did the last day of the sale last year.
Yeah.
Which I think was a Tuesday?
Yeah, it was Wednesday or Tuesday.
Yeah. So, I mean, they just have to do that.
But this is also the trend that Free Comic Book Day has been taking.
Sure.
Like, it has been years since Free Comic Book Day hit the highs of what the highs were.
Yeah.
And those were pre-pandemic highs.
Yeah,
Not even...
I mean, getting back to kind of the last year's sale, I remember now conversations we had where it felt you were really disappointed in just the overall amount of sales because the money is the money. And I always remember being really disappointed about how much effort and energy we had put into the website, and only for it to do even less than the year before.
Yeah.
When the website was objectively worse in almost every way. To put time, effort, money into it, and then be like, oh, you did... I think basically the shift from 2023 to 2024, without putting a dollar amount on it, was a drop of like 10%. And it's like, so we made this thing better to do less money.
It was like having a day and a half less of the sale.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, to get back to the earliest question, like, should the sale be less days? I don't know. Maybe that's the answer. Like, maybe condensing it down and making it seem
more
urgent.
Yeah, urgent. That's a perfect word.
Like, is the way to do it. I mean, we always think that urgency is there because it's the only store-wide sale we do. We're not one of those stores that does like a different kind of sale every few weeks. We do one store-wide sale a year, and then maybe like a couple special events through the year where it's on hyper-targeted merchandise, Batman books or whatever. But the store-wide part is only that 1 week, but shit, maybe it should only be 4 days.
I have a cunning plan.
What would you do? Just Wednesday through Saturday, you think? Or would you do Wednesday through Sunday? I think it's the Monday and Tuesday that always feels like it's worthless during our sale.
Yeah.
Like the in-store traffic is like basically nothing unless it's the first day. So when it rolls around next year to being Saturday through Friday, like you're going to do great Saturday and Sunday. No one's going to care Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, having it be Friday, Saturday, Sunday this year was good.
Sure.
Having it start on a Wednesday is a ton of work. And also, it's really hard to tell what, from looking at the numbers, not, obviously you can tell when you're working it, but from the numbers, was it a good new release week anyway?
Yeah.
Or...
I mean, like the other way to look at it is to end it on a Wednesday, but then it's like, how would you do it? How would you start it on a weekend and end it on a Wednesday without also doing a Monday and Tuesday that don't matter?
Also,
like you might as well do it 7 days at that point.
But then starting on a Thursday is the roughest time. Like we got lucky that it skipped Thursday.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair to the Thursday people to have to do it by themselves.
Right. Well, they probably wouldn't. If it's the first day of the sale, especially with the amount of online shipping, one or both of us would have probably come in.
Here's my clever plan.
Okay.
We write down each day of the year on a scrap of paper, and then put them all in a hat, and we pull out of the hat what day the sale is.
Interesting.
November 3rd, April 26th.
Okay.
That's when the sale is.
Okay.
Or
2 non-consecutive days.
Or no, 7 non-consecutive days. Just keep going. It's technically a week, but not, together.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, like,
grocery prices are going to go down day one.
I'm sort of
day one of what?
Day one of the water wars.
2028 Olympics.
Maybe this is all just pointless speculation because I don't know that I'm hearing enough confidence in any alterations to be like we should change the sale dates. It's just like it vaguely feels like it's not working as well as it used to, but I couldn't tell you why. So like changing the dates is like I don't know, like the last thing I want to do is be like we'll do 4 days instead of 7, and then it's like cool, we dropped 20%. Like, well, that's bad.
It feels to us, and we're usually a bad gauge of these things because we don't go out of our way to shop with us. We shop with us out of the most convenience.
I do it out of spite.
But it feels to me like you can shop any time, night or day, because of the website. So waiting toward the end of the sale always seems like it's counterproductive because, we may be out of a lot of stuff.
Sure. Your selection definitely decreases. That said, I think we still have a lot of stuff.
Oh, for sure.
There's times
I was in the store yesterday. It's full of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's times in the past where I would have been doing a reorder midway through the sale and thinking like, oh my God, we're not going to do anything the next few days of the sale because we're out of all these things. And it's like, yeah, but we've got all this other stuff. Like, I've
never been a huge fan of the idea of reordering stacks of books to willingly sell them for 25% less.
True. I think I'm more okay with it than you are. And I usually, in advance of a sale, I try to balance, like, I want to have a good stock of things so people have a good selection without necessarily, like, ordering a ton of extra stuff, hoping to sell it at 75% of the cover price.
I don't want it to be like the Diamond Summer Sizzler or the Southern Hobby Christmas sales when it's just, here's what we have left we're trying to blow out.
And honestly, that's one of the reasons why we do it as a blanket discount store-wide rather than saying these specific things, because it's like, man, I've done those Black Friday sales at places online for brands that I like or things that I'm looking for, and it's like, you just end up buying garbage you don't want or need, and it's like that can be kind of fun, but I would rather give somebody a better experience if I can.
You don't want them buying something just to buy something as opposed to buying something they want.
Yeah. Although that said, if 10% more people want to buy stuff just to buy stuff, I'd be okay with that too.
Sure, absolutely.
Get those 2022, 2023 numbers back.
That's all I want.
It's really crazy to think that it was just, it's just the last 2 years. It's not like there was a point in the distant past where we hit this insane high. It's like no, it was real recent. It was like 2 years ago, and then then it just turned
but
down.
again, if you look at Free Comic Book Day as the barometer,
Sure.
we are doing like the last couple years, like Free Comic Book Day, from its 2018, 2019 peaks, we're about literally half that now.
Yeah, but that has such a different like context to it, because when you're talking about a big in-store event like that, arguably like COVID altered people's behavior patterns. Like the years of not doing a lot of in-store stuff kind of broke a lot of people of that habit. They just don't think about big get-togethers or big events or whatever. I mean, you can talk about it with movies. Like that's been a constant source of discourse for going on 5 years now.
See, that doesn't track though, because I see as many movies now as I did before.
Right, but
I see more now.
When exhibitors talk about it, they're looking at like the kind of global view of it, and it's like, no,
Sure.
it is legitimately down. Your behavior didn't change. My behavior didn't change.
Our behavior increased.
No, MoviePass. When MoviePass was happening,
Yeah.
I was, oh my God, I was seeing like at least 4 movies a month, usually like more like 6 or 8. Now I see 2 to 3 probably, more if better movies came out. But things like Free Comic Book Day, not having it in 2020 and then not really having it in 2021 and sort of getting it back in 2022 created this gap of people just sort of like, eh. But that's an excuse that isn't relevant. Like maybe it is a larger thing. You and I talked about it after 2024 when we saw another kind of down year for Free Comic Book Day, where we're like, all right, we have to go back to the drawing board on this. Like, we had a system that we really liked with it because it was very efficient for us to mount it, and it was less stressful for us to set up for and have the day, and everything was very kind of fluid and very competent. And then we look at the numbers and go, okay, but no one cares. So it's like, well, I guess we have to do weirder, riskier stuff that we have to put way more effort into just to get back to where we were 4 years ago.
Or put a lot less effort into it, expecting less as well.
Which is, I mean, I think it's kind of where we were at with 2024 is like, maybe it's going to be down, but also this is what we're comfortable with putting in at this point. So
but I mean, it wasn't less effort, it was the same effort.
Right, but I just mean like we knew in 2024 that it probably was not going to, like if 2023 was not an aberration, then 2024 is just going to be like, this is what we're going to see. And even in the weeks ahead of it, we were like, this is looking like it's going to be 2023 again.
But it was a couple grand lower than 2023.
Right. So yeah, that's why after 2024 we were like, all right, we have to reconceive this thing to figure out a way to hopefully make it valuable again. And we'll see if that works in 2025.
Was it yesterday? Maybe yesterday during Dynamite?
Mm-hmm.
I got confirmation that what we were planning towards is going to happen.
Okay.
Because there's other people involved in the decision process,
yeah, of course,
aside from just the two of us and the one person we were
Contacting
talking to on that end. But the other people said yes.
Great.
So now it's a matter of building that structure out. It's not a physical structure.
Sure.
To see.
Sure. All the planning and stuff that needs to go into that side of it.
Yeah,
sure.
But a lot of that's on their end.
Sure. But yeah, that'll be, now that Free Comic Day, now that the store-wide sales in the rear view, essentially. Yeah, it's probably going to be a lot of March and April is getting that stuff ready to go.
Yeah, the one thing I'm disappointed about is we probably aren't going to have the sales shirts in time for our Andy Bell signing on March 1st.
Disappointing.
Andrea Bell will be signing her brand new graphic novel, Crumble, written by Black Cloak's own Meredith McLaren. Don't be confused. Meredith McLaren is the artist of Black Cloak, but has written Crumble, which is a YA graphic novel about a family that bakes emotions into the treats they make at their family bakery.
Ooh.
So as you eat them, you experience their emotions. And this is what happens when a little bit too much grief gets put into a recipe.
Uh-oh.
And not only do we hope to have some actual baked goods on hand, which we cannot confirm at this point, we can confirm there will be Girl Scouts selling Girl Scout cookies during the signing.
Super exciting. So, I mean, you can get cookies one way or the other.
Yeah, for real. And then, not to be outdone, the very next Saturday, and that is Saturday, March 1st from noon to 2, Saturday, March 8th, also from noon to 2, we have Gabby Mendez signing her brand new graphic novel, Speak Up Santiago.
Mhm.
And we haven't had Gabby in since 2018
Oh my gosh.
for Lemonade Summer back then. So this is a return for her. And this is the biggest book she's done yet,
Nice.
as far as distribution, publisher, recognition, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So we got two pretty exciting family signings to look forward to after the sale. And then currently nothing in April as we lead up to Free Comic Book Day. But
Yep.
who knows? That could always change.
Yeah, some stuff just drops in our lap sometimes, and we get not a ton of time to promote it. It's
Yeah.
just like, hey, this is happening in a couple weeks because the stars lined up.
But to finally go back to the Indigo Children anecdote I was trying to make from a couple of topics ago,
Mhm.
I emailed everybody who was signed up for Indigo Children as a series and said, hey, Lost Fantasy is coming out. Indigo Children is the backup for it. And at that point, we had, I think, 3 people down for Lost Fantasy.
Yeah, it definitely always felt from the start like it was going to be a hand sell sort of book.
Yeah.
Like we put it in the email, we put it on the front counter display. But yeah, it
One
was
of
gonna
those
need to
3
be pushed.
was one of the people that had signed up to Indigo Children, but only one of them.
Mm.
So I sent out 20 some odd emails to people about the backup and got a good 25% engagement. I mean, sorry, not engagement of people signing up for it.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's not like a 1-to-1,
No,
but it's, 5 more people than were signed up for it.
true.
And if this was just a bullet point in one of our weekly emails, probably overlooked.
Oh, for sure. If even opened. Yeah.
That's one of the things that we'd gotten from our marketing audit from early 2023
Mhm.
was our Wednesday emails had too much information,
Sure.
and that's when we started splitting up into
Yeah, doing a Thursday email that was more like, here are the books for next week, and here's announcements about like store events. And then Friday was,
just FOCs,
yeah, here's books to order.
because each of those 2 emails had a little bit of overlap, and we're like, nope, just cut it out.
Yep.
Make it just boom, boom.
Yeah, and like even the Friday email would frequently have like, hey, here's all the stuff we added to our website, all the week's new books that you can buy. And then it was like people weren't really doing that, and then it was pushing down the FOC stuff that we were more focused on. So now, yeah, you just have a thing on the Thursday email that says, hey, books are on the website.
Yeah.
There you go. Click
Click this link. And then Friday may mention if we have an event like the sale.
Right.
They'll mention it.
Yeah, stuff like the sale or Free Comic Book Day probably will land in multiple emails, even if it doesn't seem like a natural fit, because we want to make sure that everyone's aware of those.
Last week, we went on a little bit of length about a Shopify issue, not issue, but thing that was concerning to me. And well, this is a whole new episode, so hey, we have a whole new Shopify thing.
Oh boy!
It's a smaller topic, but it's just kind of a frustrating thing, especially when you look at the fact that overall, Challengers is a small business.
Very small.
There are 2 owners,
Mm-hmm.
the 2 of us.
Hello.
We don't have a huge team.
No.
And I get it if you're a bigger company, a bigger store. I remember being at Forbidden Planet in London in 2001. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were there.
Maybe.
And it was the first comic shop I'd been to that had multiple registers running simultaneously.
Yeah.
They had like a whole cube in the middle of the floor, the main floor, because there was a basement,
Mm-hmm.
where they had like 4 different stations.
Mm-hmm.
I think only 2 were running, but they had the potential for 4 at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. If you're a bigger store or a chain, I understand the need for having different register logins. Like each salesperson on each register is like, I'm logged into this one. I'm logging these sales, whatever.
Yeah, so you can attribute staff and actions, or I'm sorry, you can accommodate like
Sales.
staff as being like responsible for different things, so you can track that stuff later.
Right.
Who rang up what, who made what changes to the database, blah, blah, blah.
Or if you work on commission, you get to see who sold more, whatever. Sure. I get it. We don't do that. We've never done that. It doesn't matter to us internally who rings you up.
No.
We don't have each individual checkout person log in when they're using the machine. In fact, we're all logged in as DAO.
Uh-huh. I get all the credit.
And it doesn't matter to us internally one way or the other. I understand why stores would do it. We just choose not to do it that way. Mm-hmm. But the thing that we've discovered with Shopify this week, and it's something that's been kind of bothering me for a while now, is their specific user permissions. And what that means is each person that uses Shopify can have a different Shopify account. Mm-hmm. And we have that. We have Dal has an account. I have an account. Molly Jane has an account. Nobody else who works for us has an account because they don't necessarily ever need to go into the back end and change anything.
Sure.
But we're the three people that handle all that kind of background data and everything else. So we're the main users. Each user has to have specific permissions granted to them as to what they're actually allowed to do, what they can access, what they can change, all that stuff, right? Fine. Makes perfect sense. Usually there's administrator. Administrator is the key word that most of these systems use. And anybody can be an administrator. There can be however many administrators you want. Fine, whatever. What I've been having difficulty with is, since we set all this up and we set it up under the main challenger's email address that encompasses all three of us, but when you use that, it had to go under someone's specific name. That's Dal.
Mm-hmm. I did all this setup.
Yeah, Dal did the setup, so it's all under his name. You can't not have a name for it.
Yep.
Fine.
I wish we could have just done like the organization, but it's like that's not how it works.
But you can't. So the Dal account is also the owner account, and as the owner account, it has permissions for everything. Any permission it has. The rest of us need user permissions assigned. Okay. And again, if I'm at the store working on it, we're all signed in as Dal. When I'm at home, I'm signed in as me. And before I go any further, I could say that the solution to all of this is to just log in as Dal at home. I don't want to do that.
No.
I also don't know if there's a limit to how many different places could be logged in as Dal, because at any given point, we're both logged in on iPads, the store iPad, the store computer, our home computers individually. There could be 6 different Dal accounts running simultaneously.
That's another thing. Not to do a quick digression, but it drives me crazy that the iPad at the store has to have my same like iCloud account.
Yeah,
I can't give it like a different like identity or like sub account. So it's like I have to like. There's a whole bunch of stuff from like I have to think about ways that I use my iPhone because all that stuff is going to immediately mirror to the iPad.
I mean,
it's
the
okay.
security iPad is under my information, and it's same thing. And I had to set it to where we do not sync text messages
photos,
to this. We do not sync photos.
Nope.
We don't even sync my iTunes to this.
Yep.
Those are separate things entirely because the last thing anybody wants is, if I'm at home texting Kyle Starks, for the text messages to keep popping up on the security screen at the store.
Yeah,
so we had
I
to
don't
turn
want
all the stuff
of
off.
my app notifications that I get on my phone to be going to the register at the store.
Yeah.
You don't need to know when I'm getting DoorDash. It's fine.
Especially when you have your secret account.
It's not even secret anymore. I moved it off of like the store email address to my email address.
Okay.
There was a weird billing situation that was happening at one point.
So specifically this time of year, it's tax time.
It is.
And I'm assembling all of our tax forms. And there are tax forms I can't get to in Shopify because I don't have the permissions. So I went in and first of all, I had to log in as Dal. And now because of two-factor authentication, it always has to text Dal a code, which he then has to text me so I can get into the system.
The thing is, I don't always know who it is because like sometimes Molly will need to get into something on the register, and she will just like it'll send out a notification to me instead of her.
Yeah,
and then she'll have to say, "Oops, that's me." I'm like, all right, here it is.
And I'll have to do the same.
You will.
And then I always feel like you need an explanation. You don't ask for it, but I was like, I'm trying to get
I
this.
never need an
tax form.
explanation. I don't like. It's cool if you want to tell me. It's not that it's not interesting. It's just that
You don't care.
I don't need a justification before you get the code. It's
Yeah.
like, just here's the code. I assume you need it for something important.
So when I was logged in as you, I went to the user permissions and I went to the administration tab and I signed me up for everything.
Mhm.
And that didn't work. So then I went back in and I created, because you're the owner.
Mhm.
So I went in and I created co-owner and assigned it every possible permission that it would let me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Great. That didn't work. I still couldn't get tax forms.
Perfect.
So I finally said, well, fuck it. I'm just going to call Shopify. So I did the automated chat
Mhm.
function. And I log in and basically say, hey, here's my 2 questions. 1, what permissions do I need to get tax forms? And 2, can there be 2 owners? And 2 people be listed as owner for the system.
Right.
And the person said, oh, good question.
That was very nice of them to compliment you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I worked really hard on it.
Which means they're like, oh, we don't know. So first they're like, oh, if you make, because they thought I was you. They always think I'm you because I'm logged in under your account.
Right. Well, I mean, certainly if you're like, if someone who is not the owner of the account was like, how can I give myself the same permissions as the owner? If I were them, I'd be like, do not ask us that question.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, just assign Patrick Brower the administrator role. That should do it. Nope, already did that. It didn't work. Oh, okay. Oh, but like, can I just make Patrick Brower an owner as well? And they're like, let me get back to you. And after a while, they came back and said, no, there can only be one owner. And I got to tell you, I think most businesses, I would say the vast majority of businesses are owned by more than one person.
Yeah, I think it's just a structural thing where essentially, like, the owner is the one that has absolute permission to more or less cancel the account if they need to. And you can't give that to 2 people because who the hell knows what's going to happen? Like, you need somebody who has the final authorization to be like, yes.
Have you never watched a war movie? There's always 2 keys, Dal. 2 keys have to be turned simultaneously.
Yeah, but there's one console. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but 2 people have access to.
No, it's just the one console.
It's just one button to push.
The console is deciding. Yeah, so I think it's probably
Are you
for that
saying
reason.
council or console?
Console.
Okay.
Console.
Okay.
Console. Because sometimes it's in a submarine, sometimes it's in like a bunker
It's
somewhere.
definitely a bunker, yeah. So basically they said, Patrick Brower cannot get permission for tax forms. Dal Bush has to let him do it or do it for him.
In fairness, they were texting me at the same time that you were having this conversation with them, and I was like, I don't know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
definitely not. Don't do it.
Yeah. Who?
No wonder they kept trying to tell me to stay online and were asking me like random questions about my day.
They said that the main thing you needed to do is turn on location services so they know where you were. It was weird, right? I don't understand Shopify technology. I don't know how the platform works.
So it's disappointing that there's only one owner and I can't get the permissions to do what I need to
Ironically,
do.
if there was one owner, it would not be me.
The only reason I am listed as president on all of our documentation is because when we first set up the incorporation, we used my accountant.
Mm-hmm.
So he just assigned me as president.
And like one of the things that I'm always really proud about for the fact that we've been open for almost 17 years now, about 6 weeks away, is that neither of us really cares.
Yeah.
Like you don't lord it over me in any way other than like a weird dumb joke. And I don't give a shit. Like the store to me is not flattering my ego or anything. Like I don't care. Like there's been times where you said that creators have thought that George was the co-owner because they were essentially introduced to the store with you and George rather than seeing me.
Yeah.
And it's like, did they like the store though?
Yeah,
I don't care about the rest of it. Like I don't need them to understand what I do. I want the store to A, be successful, and B, for people to be happy with it. Like in that order.
Ultimately, if you're assigning us legal titles, I'm CFO and you're CTO.
Mm-hmm.
There's no CEO.
Also, you'd probably be the CCO, the Chief Creative Officer.
Okay.
And I would be the COO, the Chief Operations Officer.
Yeah, fair. Those are
I
all
think
accurate.
that's how we would sort of flowchart this all out.
There's a great new graphic for Grand Slam Australia for the
Is it when the time is when it's going to
No.
start? And there's just a picture of a basketball man.
It's
After this guy's done.
It's for the TBS championship.
Okay,
So it's Harley on this side,
Harley Cameron. Yeah,
Puppet Mercedes
I
on
love
this
it.
side.
Oh my god. I hope Mercedes Moné understands how successful that puppet is in making this feud work.
Yeah.
Without that puppet, I don't know that this feud works as well as it does.
I think we've both forgotten that Harley also spoke Chinese to RJ on Hey EW.
I definitely forgot that.
And because I was trying to look up what she said
Uh-huh.
during her rap,
Yeah.
I couldn't find it, but I could find that when RJ was questioning her, what she was saying in Chinese was, "Yes, I can speak Chinese. Why are you making fun of me?"
That's nice.
Yeah, it's accurate.
She's multi-talented. Everything you've ever wanted a woman, plus a bunch of other stuff.
It's a bunch of other stuff. Well, you know what? We only really had 3 topics today, but we had a full discussion.
We stretched it out.
And we didn't even stretch it out. It was just the natural flow of conversation for what is definitely this week a comics industry business podcast, which worked out good because I didn't read any PDFs.
Me neither. I definitely mean to this weekend. And
What do we got on tap so I know what to go look for?
I don't remember really anything from like DC or whatever. Maybe there is nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
One of the big things, though, is that we will probably next week be talking about news that's coming out of Comics Pro that's, again, going on this weekend in Los Angeles.
It's going on next weekend.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why is there so much Comics Pro stuff already coming out then?
Because there's tomorrow is the Let's Get Ready for It online
Jesus.
meeting. Yeah.
I'm already exhausted.
So,
then.
by the time we record next week, nothing will have come out.
No, I bet there will, because, again, look at how much stuff is already kind of happening this weekend in advance of it, which means that much like San Diego Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con, the news doesn't happen at the show. The news happens the 5 days before the show.
Yeah. Well, but I mean,
as different announcements get made and different things are like brought up so that then they can be discussed at the event.
So it will be, if I'm not mistaken, it's next Thursday, Friday, and like Saturday morning.
Okay.
So we'll have
Well, you still got time
half
to go
a
then.
day of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other news,
Yeah. I was hoping to go to Comic Show this year, but it did not work out.
Mhm.
Mainly because of the sale. Thanks, everybody.
again, we're down 10% for the sale since 2023. Where do you think the No, I forgot what I was going to say.
Something about Comic Show, probably.
No, I was going to say that the only other real stuff that's happened news-wise this week, yet another publisher is shifting their stuff over to Lunar from Diamond. Udon
Oh, yeah.
is doing their stuff. We don't really carry a lot of their stuff on
No.
the shelf, but like a lot of other publishers, they are kind of concerned about Diamond's ability to facilitate their free comic book day comics.
I wouldn't be worried about that. I'd be worried about their ability to not implicate owners' parents in financial difficulties when their previous are they from the ashes of Dreamwave?
No,
Oh, sorry.
I don't think
sorry,
so.
Udon. I apologize.
I think Udon is separate than Pat Lee's parents.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's some overlap of people who worked at both companies, but I think they're a different company. But yeah, like Udon and Vault, I think specifically were making moves because they have a lot of money tied up in their promotional comics for Free Comic Book Day, and there is a real fear in the industry that Diamond will not be able to ship those books out one way or the other.
Yeah, but Vault was already available from Lunar.
It was, but there's a lot of people that did their Free Comic Day numbers through Diamond, not through Vault.
Fair.
And like, I'm sure the companies are doing this because they were looking at the pre-order numbers coming in from Diamond, and they're like, well, shit, like if Diamond can't fill those orders, we've printed these books and these retailers can't get this stuff.
I just need you to make sure you really, really evaluate the numbers for that Post Malone Free Comic Day book.
I don't remember what we did on that. I'm sure not a lot. He's going to do a bunch of social media posts about his Free Comic Book Day comic.
I just want to know how it ties into his Oreo.
Didn't he do an ad for like Bud Light or something during the Super Bowl?
But I mean, he has his own
Sure.
Oreo flavor.
He's done promotional
Can you
stuff.
tell me what it is?
I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, you let me down.
Okay.
It's a chocolate cookie and a golden cookie,
Okay.
and then with a vanilla caramel swirl cream.
Sounds very complicated. What is it called? Is it just the Post Malone Oreo?
Yeah.
Okay. He's also like a brand ambassador for Raising Cane's, which I think is kind of neat.
Is he really?
Yeah. It seems like stuff that he's like genuinely a fan of, like
So,
Danny
okay,
DeVito
look.
doing Jersey Mike's promotions, where it's like I think he just likes Jersey Mike's a lot.
We are at the end of the episode,
Clearly,
and I did digress with a tiny little bit of AEW stuff. But now here's a legitimate non-comic question for you.
me personally, or the
Yeah,
listener?
no, you,
Okay.
Dal Bush.
Okay.
I need you to rank your favorite chicken places.
Oh man. So if you don't know this, listener, I'm a huge fan of chicken.
Of fried chicken.
Of fried
specifically.
chicken. I mean, I like grilled chicken too. That's the thing. I like all different kinds. So there's different types of ways that you can have chicken, like vehicles for it, more or
Okay.
less.
Let's rate the fried chicken sandwich.
Okay. I mean, the best one in the city right now is, what is it, Red Light?
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Light Chicken, which we just started going to recently. Patrick had found it via one of his many block club style
Eater best of list or what
yeah,
have you.
just like what neighborhoods have these good foods.
It is a really good chicken
It's
sandwich.
a really good chicken sandwich, and like they do a thing that Small Cheval does, where it's just a very limited menu, where it's like we make these 3 things, and we just make them all day.
Chicken sandwich, chicken nuggets, French fries.
Yeah, and like even the toppings for the chicken sandwich are like, well, they'll sauce them a few different ways. They have like 2 or 3 different sauces, so you can get it like plain, you can get it hot, you can get it hot honey, but then the toppings are just like
Cheese or mayo?
well,
Pickle.
pickle, mayo, cheese. Cheese is extra, pickle and mayo come included, and then you just however you do that, and then the fries can have like a truffle oil.
Yeah.
And then they have a bunch of different like prepackaged
Dipping.
sauces that you can have for your stuff. So it's
Which I don't think that they should be giving to us because we're not getting the nuggets, but we still get
I
2
get
every
fries,
time.
so it's like here's the dipping sauce for the
Yeah,
fries.
I know.
The barbecue sauce for the fries.
It's not traditional for people to give you dipping sauces for your fries.
So chicken sandwich, Red Light does a really good job with their chicken sandwich. I really like it. I tried the Small Cheval one recently because they started doing chicken, but I think I like their
World's famous chicken.
I like their tenders better.
Yeah.
For like a good like fast food, like instead of like a I don't know that I consider stuff like Red Light and Raising and Small Cheval to be really fast food. I guess they kind of are. They're very fast, which I like. I appreciate that. But like
And fresh. They're making it right for you.
Raising Cane's, I really, really, really like their just their chicken fingers. They're just really good, and their sauce, the Raising Cane sauce, is so good. And plus, I like their little just the configuration of their box, which is just like you get 4 chicken fingers, French fries, Texas toast, Raising Cane's dipping sauce, coleslaw if you want it. I usually skip the coleslaw because I'm obviously not
Their
eating
coleslaw is
healthy.
okay.
I'm not eating it healthy.
It's not
I'm eating
my
fried
favorite, but it's
chicken.
okay. Coleslaw's not healthy. It's just lettuce, cabbage, and mayonnaise. Vinegar.
Locally to the store, Parsons is tremendous, like Amish style fried chicken. It's just really, really good.
If I were to ask you what makes it Amish style, could you answer that?
I couldn't. There's a way that they prepare it. It's the breading or like how it's
They do
deep
it with
fried.
no
I
technology.
don't know how they do it. But it's a kind of preparation. So that's really good. But there's almost no chicken place that I wouldn't try or at least enjoy if I was nearby.
Did you forget honey butter, or they just don't make the list?
I forgot honey butter fried chicken. I really like honey butter fried chicken because their dipping sauce is honey butter.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know that I frequently have fried chicken and think I should butter this, but with honey butter fried chicken, they're kind of allowing for it. So I'm like, I'll do that. And it is so goddamn good. Like the mixture of the honey butter with the fried chicken strip is so delicious. I much like you with pizza, I could literally have different kinds of fried chicken every single day and I would never say no. I'm glad I don't, because I've lived this long. But yeah, there's almost no, and again, we didn't even touch on stuff like, chicken quesadillas at Chipotle or something, which is just
or like
more of a grilled chicken, or
you never do like a McChicken or a Burger King, but you'll do nuggets.
That's yeah, for sure. I'll do nuggets at places like Wendy's and McDonald's. I didn't even touch on Nando's, which does an amazing grilled chicken. I am a boring white person, so I just get like the plain.
Yeah, that's the like
plain-ish.
Nando's. It's you call them Nando's, but it's Nando's peri peri, and you ignore the entire peri peri part of their menu.
Even their plainish is prepared in a specific way, so it might not be as spicy or as anything else as stuff later on the menu, but it is still. It has a little bit of texture and taste to it that you wouldn't get at another grilled chicken place. I didn't mention Wingstop. I love Wingstop. Mostly their fries, but the chicken strips and their chicken sandwich are pretty solid.
I like their boneless wings. I get them Hawaiian style.
Yeah. I'm sure there's at least 2 other chicken places I've completely forgotten about.
Sure there is.
Yeah, I literally could do chicken every single day of the week and not hit the same place twice.
I have still a bowl of chicken stew in the fridge from when I made chicken stew when it was
Nice.
freezing cold, a couple of well below freezing.
Chicken stew, by the
ago.
way, is the worst insult that Anna J ever gave to Stu Grace when they were in the Dark Order together.
That's fair.
It's just mean.
Well, she was real mean to him the whole time.
She was.
I miss those days.
What a bully.
All right. Well, thank you for that little chicken divergence.
Sure.
If anybody has any other chicken questions, feel free to email dal@challengerscomics.com. In the meantime,
you doxed me.
thank you.
You doxed her in the podcast.
It's public knowledge. It's not doxing when it's public knowledge.
Report spam.
Fine, send it to challengers at.
Make sure Molly gets it.
Yeah, carbon copy Molly Jane. Well, she'll get it if it goes to challengers at. But,
we're all good.
Like, attention, Molly Jane.
Everyone will get it.
There you go. Just like everyone gets chicken. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. And help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.